day 81. We already completed 80 mock interviews. Whoever watching this video on the YouTube for the first time, you can check out all mock interviews. Go to the playlist section. There you can find right tool wise every interview question. So whether it will be Docker, Kubernetes, okay, Devops, all you can check it out. And please like this video so that we will get motivation to continue the mock interviews. So yeah, hi Arun, can you please introduce yourself? Don't reveal your genuine information. Okay, you can try your introduction part.
Okay, sure. So first of all, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to be here. My name is Arun Kumar. I have over 5 years of experience as a DevOps engineer. My core expertise lies in building uh, robust CI/CD pipelines using tools like Jenkins and Git. Along with, I have extensive experience in containerization and orchestration with Docker and Kubernetes. Additionally, I utilize Terraform for infrastructure as a code and Ansible for configuration management. I'm also skilled in monitoring and observability with the Prometheus and Grafana, which help ensuring the system reliability and performance. That's the snapshot of my experience. I'm really excited about the opportunity to bring my expertise to your team and drive continuous improvement in development and operations. Thank you once again.
Oh, super Arun. Thank you so much for your introduction. It was perfect and there is no feedback.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Raghava, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Raghava. I have good experience in cloud migration, cloud engineering, DevOps, and SRE. I have good experience in deploying the applications and infrastructure using the tools like Terraform, Ansible, and cloud native services like AWS, EKS, EKS, ECS Fargate, and ECS Fargate and AKS. I've worked across the cloud platforms, including Azure, AWS, Oracle, and part of GCP. I've got experience in migrating the applications using containerization, using Docker files and the orchestration using Kubernetes. And I've got experience um, in end-to-end CI/CD pipeline in designing, creating, and managing CI/CD pipeline with wide range of tools from starting from open source like GitHub Jenkins and enterprise like GitHub Action, Jenkins X, and GitLab CI and some more other tools for streamlining the automation frameworks for best DevOps tools and practices. Um, so I've also integrated with security with both SAST and DAST tools for more secure network, and also helped in observability and monitoring as more necessary for making it more health and um, services. So for that, I use the tools, a wide range of tools like for metrics, log, and traces. For metrics, I use a lot tools like Prometheus and Grafana, and more open source tools like Graphite and other tools. And for log aggregation, I use Splunk and ELK. And for tracing, I used Eager. So this is all my experience for, and also with scripting, I've done a lot of automation tasks, right from monitoring to infrastructure and beyond. So I've used tools like scripting, like starting from Linux, the Shell, PowerShell, and Python. So I've made sure to make more reliable and secureable and scalable environment for deployments and for the project. Thank you.
Yeah, your introduction was okay, but you need to still improve. So the introduction was like you are not prepared like that. It's like that.
I was trying to say without seeing. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So anyone want to? Yeah, Chetan, can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I would like to thank you for giving me an opportunity for this interview. My name is Chris Kumar, and I'm based in Bangalore. I hold a bachelor's degree in computer application. I have overall experience of 11 years into IT industry with 6.2 years specifically focused on DevOps. In my DevOps journey, I have worked with a variety of tools and technologies, including Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Terraform, AWS, such as EC2, S3, and IAM. And also, I've worked with CI/CD practices. I've also utilized monitoring and logging solutions like Prometheus, Grafana, and ELK stacks to enhance the system reliability and performance. And I took a break from my career for 3 years due to family medical emergencies. And about my roles and responsibilities, I was responsible for managing and improving cloud infrastructure. Primarily, I was using AWS and automating tasks to ensure systems were scalable, secure, and efficient. I've also used tools like Terraform for automating resources provisioning and Jenkins for building CI/CD pipelines, making the deployment process smoother and faster. I've worked extensively with Docker and Kubernetes to containerize and orchestrate the applications, ensuring they run consistently across the environment and scaled as needed. Additionally, I've set up the monitoring and logging systems with Prometheus and Grafana ELK stacks to track the performance, troubleshooting the issues, and optimizing systems proactively. Working in a proper way. I've also collaborated closely with deployment and operations teams to ensure the seamless communication tackles issue quickly and maintain focus security and automation, also along with the performance optimization and all the process. That's it pretty much about myself. Thank you.
Yeah, just a moment. So yeah, shall we start the mock interview? I will share my screen. The first question was how to update a running container without a downtime. So it is basically purely on Docker. So not a Kubernetes, using a Docker. So your container is running. Now you want to update that container. Nothing but you need to update to the latest version. But simultaneously you should not have a downtime. So that's the question. How do you update a running container without downtime?
So, can we use a blue-green technique uh, to do this, to achieve this?
So I'm talking about Docker. You are talking about strategy.
Kubernetes.
Not
Yeah.
I'm discussing about the Docker concept, but why you are discussing the environment? Blue, green is a different environment. There you will place a load balancer. The you will route the traffic to different environments.
Yes.
Okay,
Whenever the
but we are
upgrade.
discussing about the Docker concept. I'm talking about the Docker container.
Okay.
Updating the new Docker file and loading it with the new Docker file.
Super, you are almost right, but how you will do that without downtime? Which you will use in order to.
Docker update -t and Docker file.
No, did you heard about this Docker update?
Update or upgrade? Mm,
No, like for suppose you want to upgrade a running container, what you will do in Docker? We can use a Docker compose. We can use a Docker swarm. Yes or no?
yes.
If we are using multiple containers, will we have a downtime? No, right? We can able to update it. So how do you handle an image build, nothing but Docker image build that consistently fails due to dependency conflicts? Like for suppose I am building a Python image. Simple example. Python depends upon some libraries. Okay. Now my Docker image was built whenever building it is failing because there is some dependency conflicts. So how you are going to resolve that?
First, we will check for the log and find out where it is, which
Here,
dependency is
if you
getting.
see, why you will find out how do you handle an image build that consistently fails due to dependency conflicts. Here I'm already telling you what is the reason behind image build failure. I already mentioned why it is failing. Like why you will go and check logs again. In the question itself I mentioned, right? Fails due to
That's right.
dependency conflicts. It's failing due to dependency, right? Due to a Python library, whatever it may be. I already mentioned. So that's the reason whenever, right, anyone asks you a question, right, you need to focus on the question. Chetan, you are doing the same mistake repeatedly. In the last mock interview also you did the same.
Yep, yep. I understand.
So you need to focus on the question. The answer will be secondary.
Yep, got it, sir.
Update the dependency file.
Super. You're right. You are right, Raghava. We need to update the whatever the dependency is required. Then automatically Docker image build automatically will get succeed. So we need to update what the dependency is required for that application. How we will update it, Raghava?
Pip install or whatever the package or npm install whatever the package version.
In we are discussing about Docker npm install. It's a manual step.
Yeah, so we can update the version in the Docker file.
Yes, we need to update in the Docker file, not version. What are the dependency required? We need to update inside the Docker file. Okay. Next question: what would you do if you suspect a container has been compromised? So, what would you do if you suspect a container has been compromised? This question is a little bit tricky, I know. So, how do you handle port conflicts when running multiple containers? So, try to answer. Until then, I will attach the charger.
First, we need to stop the container and uh, run with the port.
Okay. I will move to next question.
Or we
Sir,
can
can I answer?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, can we use port mapping to route the uh, port number to the different port number, so that we can use different port numbers to use the multiple containers.
You are right or wrong.
Thanks.
We will check after few minutes.
Yes, sir.
But you have tried. I am happy for that. It's okay whether it may be right or wrong. So if you
Actually,
participate,
yeah, I
then you will
actually
get it. You are almost whatever you are said. It's right. I'm not telling it's wrong.
yes, sir.
You will get full clarity at the end of the session when you see the answers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm actually not good with the Docker because I didn't.
Yes, yes. I know it. We will start Docker
Yes, sir.
in 2 days. But you have tried, right? That's what it's great.
Yes, sir.
So how do you debug a container that refuses to stop? Your container is not stopping. Like how you will debug?
First, we need to enter to the container Docker exit to the container
Okay,
and
what is
check
the command?
logs.
What is the command to log into a container?
-b, but if we use -b to uh,
No, it's for Raghava.
okay, sir.
-d,
How to log into a running container? You said that you
Docker
will log
exit,
in. Okay.
Docker exit -d. Sorry, Docker exit container ID.
Docker exec minus ID nothing but interactive mode. You will give the container ID. This is a basic question. If you are not able to tell this
Yeah.
right, then it's clear, right? You will fail the interview. Container ID or container name, right? Slash bin by. You need to give the terminal. Simple. This is the basic thing. If you're already working as a real-time DevOps engineer, you need to answer it fastly. If you don't practice, you will not remember. So how do you handle Docker images growing too large? Your Docker image was growing too large.
Break it into
Super.
multiple.
Multi-stage build. So you need to speak it confidently. You should not answer like doubtful. We can use a multi-stage Docker build. And one more thing, whenever you're building a Docker image, you need to add only the necessary files. If it is not
Lightweight.
necessary, you need to remove that files and you should not maintain that. And you need to use lightweight Docker images as you mentioned. You are right. So I might be rude, okay? Don't take in negative manner. If I like this only, you are going to learn, right? If I am smooth, right, it will not going to help you. So how would you, if you suspect a memory leak in a containerized application? Sorry, what would you do if you suspect a memory leak in the containers? Of course, some containers will take huge resources, right? Like for suppose if I go to task manager, right? So if you see something is running in the background which is taking too much of memory, right? CPU consuming nothing but due to this visual basic, my total resources was consuming, my system will get stuck. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in the same way, whenever you are running container, right, there is some container will take huge resources. If you see he is consuming 100% of CPU and memory, that means my system will hang automatically. So in the containers also there will be some situations where this some containers will take that. What you will do? If it is for
Restart
task
the
manager,
container.
what I will do? I will just
Restart the
run this
container.
task. You are right. Super. If we restart the container will become empty. So the memory leak will be stopped. So super. We can restart the container or we can stop that container. So how do you resolve a failed Docker pull due to rate limit exceeded? How do you resolve a failed Docker pull due to rate limit exceeded? How do you manage container logs that grows indefinitely? Like container logs was growing indefinitely. So this is the real-time question in our project also, right? They are collecting the logs using container. So if they
We
get
can
any,
archive.
sorry,
Can we archive
archive means,
um, taking a backup of 2 days or 3 days prior files and keeping only what is
okay,
necessary in
how
the
you will
current?
do that?
I'm not sure with the Docker, sir.
No, no, I'm not asking about Docker. Did I mention how you will do the using Docker?
No, it is just telling how do you manage. So in that case, we just archive the older one, and we only keep using the present one, what is currently required.
Okay, what we will call it as log rotation,
Remote
right?
storage. Okay, I'm not sure, sir. But um,
We call it as
using
log
so
rotation itself.
okay,
You are moving right from one place to other. That is rotate itself, right?
okay.
In
So I thought of telling you remote, so we can take the backup and keep it in the remote, and whatever is all your archive files, and use only the current one. So is that what works with the rotation?
so yeah, you are right. We can move that logs to other location.
Okay, so
We can set up some monitoring tool and set up the forward those logs to the
monitoring tools.
Monitoring tool will just monitor it, right?
no,
How the
like Elasticsearch where we store the logs.
you
We
store
can
the logs,
use,
but if you want to move the logs, how you will use a monitoring tool?
yeah, we can use
Mount it.
S3.
We can mount it,
If you want to
bind
mount,
mount.
then monitoring will how monitoring will come into picture. Monitoring will not come into the picture, right? Monitoring tool will just give you the notification if it's something happens. Via monitoring tool, how you will move the logs. Via monitoring tool, you will collect the logs. Okay, but the logs was becoming huge. In that situation, how you will tackle that? How do you debug a container that has network issues?
Docker net stack.
Yeah, you need to debug a container that has a network issues. Nothing but that container is not getting a network. So how do you migrate a legacy application to Docker?
Mm, migration.
So how do you handle a dangling volume consuming disk space? This is also real-time question which we have faced in the
Scaling.
different companies.
Scaling.
Sorry,
Scaling.
scaling.
What autoscaler?
Here we are discussing about
Okay.
the disk space, not
Okay.
about the traffic. If you get a traffic, you will auto scale. Here, how do you handle a dangling volume that consuming disk space? So what is the meaning of dangling? Which of no use, right? So
Okay.
you will delete that volume. Docker system
Okay.
prone. Unused volumes will be deleted. How do you configure a multi-container application for local development? Nothing but a development environment, how you will use a multi-container application.
Base email and
So I want to run a multi-container application is a Docker. How I can able to implement that? What you will use to implement a multi-container application?
Docker comp-
Yeah,
Docker file.
you are right. Docker Compose itself we are going to use. So don't tell in doubtful manner. Using multi-container application will be happen via Docker Compose itself, right? So how do you monitor the health of running container? Using a health check command, we can able to monitor.
Inspect. Which,
How do you debug high disks usage by Docker? So
uh, Docker inspect.
shall we check the answers?
Yes, sir.
So how do you update a running container without downtime? So your web application is running a container and you need to deploy a new version without interrupting service. That's what I said, right? Use Docker Compose or Docker Swarm with rolling update. So if you are using Docker Swarm, you can use Docker Service Update and you can update the image version or not from version 1 to v2. You can give the service name automatically. Using service, what it will do, it will run multiple containers or not. So it will automatically update without downtime. If you are using Kubernetes, what you will do? kubectl scale deploy, or if you are using revision, you can use a rollout deployment, right? Kubectl rollout deployment. Then you can update the version. So how do you handle an image build that consistently fails due to dependency conflicts? A Docker image fails due to image build stage because of version mismatch in dependencies, right? Run pip install request equal to 2.26.0, right? You can pass the dependency in your Docker file. Then you can use a no cache.
Or we can run this in the Docker, what do you call the CMD or the last also, right?
What is CMD? What is the use of CMD?
You need to run any scripts. If you wanted to have any script run, we can put it on the CMD and
Okay, just Google it. What is CMD in Docker? So if you don't know the basic thing, right, it will be very difficult. I know the answer, but I need to show you the proof, right?
if we wanted to run any command, we can put a CMD, right? That is to run any shell command. We can put any shell command in that CMD and we can run it. Right?
So in Docker, CMD stands for command and the Docker file instruction that specifies the default command to run when a container is started from an image. So in the CMD, you will pass the command which you require to start your application. Now I need a
Mhm.
dependency. You are telling me to give the dependency in the run instruction. So first I need to download the dependency or I need to directly run the dependency, right? Run instruction will use it to start the application.
First we need to run the dependencies, then we need to
Yes.
host the application.
So CMD is the last command where you will run start your application. Okay, CMD instruction, right? Default command to run when a container is started. So if you see, if I want to start the Apache, I will use CMD. So to download the dependencies, we will use a run instruction. This one the basic things. Okay, it will be discussed during Docker sessions. So you need to learn tool perfectly. So what would you do if you suspect a container has been compromised? So your monitoring system alerts you to suspicious activity in a container. So you need to stop the container, right? Inspect the container logs and file system. Scan the image for vulnerabilities using tools like Trevi. First, you need to stop that container. If something is happening, you need to stop that or remove it. How do you handle port conflicts when running multi containers? So Chetan, you have answered this, right?
Yes, sir.
So as you said, you are using a different ports or not.
Yes, we are.
So I told you you are right, but wait, I will going to show you after a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
So two containers need to expose the same port on the host machine. Approach map the container post in different host ports. Yes, Nginx run on same port 80. Apache is also run on same port 80. But I'm exposing it into different port. Yes, 8080 for Nginx, 8081 for Apache.
When I googled it, I found some different answer like port. 1 second. It is like it's called port. Um, it, just a minute. Port conflicts. There's a thing called isolated net. Create an isolated network and then do a port conflict. Network isolated net.
Isolated network.
Create a network isolated net and then do avoid port conflicts between the shared environment.
So how you will going to create an isolated network?
We need to create a network and then we need to uh, have that port for that Nginx or whatever we have it
Okay, how you will create that network?
uh, by uh, by doing network namespaces.
Okay, using Docker, if you want to create your own network, how you will create?
Docker network create.
Yeah, that is the answer. We can create our own network like that. You can able to do it, but that is a different. Now I'm talking about the application port, and we are discussing about the Docker. We can use a different network as well. Okay, for if you want to achieve anything, there will be multiple ways. Okay, I'm not telling you are wrong. If you want to use, definitely, but if you want to run on the same network at that time, how you will do it? This is the only option, right? If you are running a different network, it's okay. You go ahead and create a isolated network on of your own, run your container. But if you are running on the same network, how you will do that? At that time, you need to use different port numbers. That's what I have shown here.
So one more option they give is like use a reverse proxy, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? There will be multiple ways. Okay, I need to go to Hyderabad. I may prefer train. I might prefer bus, right? I may prefer plane. There will be multiple ways to achieve anything. So you need to choose the best comfortable option, best comfortable approach to you. So how do you debug a container that refuses to stop? So you need to kill the container, docker kill the container ID. How do you handle Docker images growing too large? So you need to use a multi-stage Docker build, remove unnecessary files. I told you, right? So what would you do if you suspect a memory leak? So what you will do, you will just set a memory limit for your container. If you see, if I go to task manager, he is taking too much of memory. So if I kept a CPU and memory limit, okay, this was I will just exited. It's okay. Right. If you see, Visual Studio Code is there. Okay, if you see, Google Chrome is there. Something it is taking 216 MB, 2% of CPU. If I set the limit right, this much CPU itself Google Chrome should use. Right now it is taking 216 MB. Now if I set a 100 MB, right, it will take only 100 MB and remaining memory will be I can use for different applications, right? And there will be no option to crash my operating system. Why? There is no chance of memory leaks. So that's the reason limit memory usage. Docker run FLFL memory. I'm trying my best to compare with real life example. Okay, I'm showing directly Windows. Okay, so that you will get understanding. Here we are using a Visual Studio Code. Sorry, visualization in Windows. But in Linux, you will play with commands. So in the Linux, same task manager, if you want to do it, if you want to check what is the command you will use. So you want to see this. Okay, process ID, status, okay, CPU and memory usage. How you will able to
Hit
check
stop.
that? Top command, right? Htop or top. So you need to use that or PS to see the process. So how do you resolve a failed Docker pull due to rate limit exited? So your pipeline fails because Docker Hub rate limits pulls for anonymous users. Approach, authenticate the Docker Hub. So first you need to log into a Docker Hub. Use a private registry. So how do you manage container logs that grows indefinitely? A high traffic application generates logs that consumes disk space. Enable log rotation, right? You will use a log driver. You will use the maximum size and maximum files. So if you set that, automatically it will only maintain that size and that number of files. So redirect logs to external systems like ELK or FluentD. So you can redirect that logs. So how do you debug a container that has network issues? So container cannot connect to an external API. Docker network inspect, or you will log into a container and you will cat the /resolve.conf, or you will attach the container to a different network. Docker network connect, network name and the container ID. So how do you migrate a legacy application to Docker? First you will create a Docker file with the necessary dependencies. Right, you will refactor the configurations and use environmental variables. Test the application in the staging environment before production deployment. That's what you will migrate. So how do you handle a dangling volume consuming disk space? So Docker volume ls. Then you will use Docker volume prone to remove that particular volume. Nothing but unused volume, which is no use. How do you configure a multi-container application? Right now, I recently got a. We just need using Kubernetes in our environment. There is some disk space issue was happening. There are multiple volumes are available, which is not attached to anything. So I can able to delete that volumes, right? Then space will automatically I will get it. So same thing here also. So how do you configure a multi-container application for local development? You will use a Docker Compose. Simple answer. How do you monitor the health of container? If you see health check command curl -f localhost 8080, nothing but It will continuously curl this localhost with 8080 port. If it is success, nothing will happen. If it is failure, it will exit with 1. Nothing but exit is 1, nothing but error. In Linux, 1 is nothing but error, 0 is success. So automatically whenever you execute docker right container ls, at the bottom it will show unhealthy. Don't worry, once we start docker classes, right, in that sessions I will use this check command and I will show you real time. If anyone watching this video on YouTube, if you are looking for real time training, you can call me on WhatsApp and enroll for DevOps training. Then you will get in-depth concepts. So how do you debug high disk usage by Docker? So the host machine is running out of disk space due to Docker artifacts. So identify Docker system df. So it will just show how, right, which file is taking too much of space. So clean up resources, Docker system prone -a, or you can use verify large images, Docker image ls. So if the image is large and if there is no use, remove that image. Okay, that's it. I will stop the recording.